Hey guys, James Riley from Goliath Historical Fencing Academy. In December of 2025, I received a package from my very good friends at Arms & Armor. I was very pleasantly surprised to discover that the final prototype for their Fechtschule sword had been completed, and they had sent it to me for a final review. It's been over a month, and I have used it in a variety of contexts. Everything from drilling to sparring, no gear to full protection, constrained to free play. Using it and fencing against it. I also endeavored to explore the use of the full complement of techniques described for use in the Kunst des Fechtens tradition, particularly those found in the Fechtschule era for which the original artifacts were created. Before I get into the deeper review, a little background. I am a sword loyalist. I have owned many swords over the years, but have only regarded two as being right for me. In 2019, I received a baby mock and used that exclusively until 2022, when Martin Fabian convinced me to look at the Sigi Maestro XL. I've been using that ever since. These two are very different swords from each other. They have balance and weight that are optimized for very different styles of fencing. The through line, however, is that they are big and heavy swords with a tremendous amount of flex. The balance and feel are very different from each other, and both from this new prototype. But the Fechtschule sword from Arms & Armor fits right into this category, except the weight, which we'll get into. These swords are based on a pair of originals, dated from 1575 to about 1625. The dimensions from a website are an overall length of 50.75 inches, with a blade length of 41 inches, a hilt length of about 4 inches, with the point of balance coming right where the hilt ends. The guard width is 9.1 inches, the grip length 7.5, and the weight 3 pounds. Two dimensions on this list set it apart. Those are the grip length and the weight. At 7.5 inches, this is the shortest grip I have ever used in a longsword sparring sword. Admittedly, when fencing in my full gear with my preferred sparring glove, it was occasionally too small. Using it as a solo drilling tool in bare hands and light leather gloves was very rewarding. The weight is not totally abnormal. Several swords in competitive fencing are lighter still. What makes the weight notable is the fact that the blade length is comparable to the bigger, heavier swords that I'm used to swinging around. It comes in at just slightly longer than the Baby Mock and slightly shorter than the Sigi XL. This is due to the shorter grip length and the distal taper. Both of these qualities are extremely impactful on the way it can be used and the way it should be used. The sword wants to move. It really isn't designed to dominate the bind, but I had no trouble extending my strength through the sword or connecting my cuts to my center. It didn't pull me into my cuts. Where it really shines is rotating on its axis. It wants to fly off, and compared to the heavier swords that I'm used to using, it feels like a lightsaber. The distal taper makes for very different fencing. The last few inches of the sword are extremely thin. It's basically not safe to thrust with it at all. Not for the potential of going through fabric, although that is a possibility, but also a strong thrust would likely cause the weak to snap. Speaking of the weak, that's where all the flex is. Unlike fetters made for modern competition fencing, which generally flex more towards the weaker part of the middle, all of the flex is in the weak. This actually has technical implications, as I was able to make actions like the Prellhau work in conditions that would never be successful with some of the other swords that I'm used to using. Final verdict. Otherwise, this sword is just a joy to handle and defense with. It's unlike anything I've ever used, and I consider it a must-have for anybody interested in historical swordsmanship practiced during the early modern era. It requires a very different approach for use than most of what I see in competitive longsword fencing. But that kind of thing makes me very comfortable, and as it stands, this sword gets my full endorsement. Thanks for watching Historical Fencing Channel content. If you'd like to learn more, check out our Patreon link in the description for detailed, one-on-one, tailored instruction. And don't forget to like and subscribe.